This new mechanic was just invented by accident in a scrim this week. I watched this like 15 times now, and I still have no idea what just happened. My name is Anton, and you're watching This Week on Rocket League. This is of course the series where we take a look at all the crazy and stupid things that this game has had to offer during the past 7 days. And believe me, this game never fails to deliver.
Yeah, we got it.
That's it.
Yes! 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 First place! First place!
So let's check out what's been happening this week. A new mechanic has possibly just been invented. AlphaKep's team, Little Step Bros, were playing a scrim when his teammate Spider all of a sudden did this.
He gone.
Low boost, I'll just flip.
I'm dead. I'm bumped down.
What? It's not literally the first time anyone has done this, but it's the first time this mechanic has had a spotlight like this. No one knows how to do it consistently, but it could have some utility in competitive play. Can't wait for Smurf to start pulling these out of the bag in my Diamond 2 games. But what do you think? Is this mechanic useful, or is everyone just overreacting? In other news, competitive season 7 started on Wednesday, and this time the theme is glamour and luxury. After many in the community complained that the theme last season was stupid, too childish, and I don't even know how to describe this. It's great to see them listen to the community, and I don't want to take any credit, but clearly they watched my video and thought, this intellectual is totally right. After seeing this extraordinary video from this genius man, we've really been inspired to make the next season much better. The Season 7 Rocket Pass will include a bunch of bougie looking items, like this marble floor decal, and this kinda big deal player title. You can now also pay someone to score goals for you. You could do that before. It was called cheating. Oh, it's just a car. Yeah, of course. If only I had Maestro, the richiest car on the block, I would be SSL by now. The new map for the season was of course released as well. This time they decided to remake Utopia Coliseum, and this time they actually tried. They also teased Esports team goal explosions in the release trailer. Huge props to them for listening to the community with so many aspects of this new season. But most importantly, with the new season came changes to custom training. You can now complete the training packs in whatever order you want. If you're having trouble with the third shot, for example, you can now skip it and come back to it later. And if you're platinum, you can now skip all the boring parts where you have to practice basic mechanics like half flips and jump right into the flip resets. They've now added a feature to save your progress, so you don't actually have to finish the whole thing in one go. You can now also mirror the shots, so if you've been practicing a shot mainly on your right side, you can now flip it to practice it on your left side. But now it's time to check out all the dumb shenanigans that have been going on in esports. The final regional of the whole season was played this past weekend, as the circus, that is called European RLCS, kicked off on Friday. Chooser saved me from having to wear a beret for a month by winning a game against BDS in overtime. They did then get absolutely shafted by them, but I thank him for their service. Semper had a chance to make it to the spring major after missing out in the winter split, and they had a great start as they quite handily defeated Dignitas, who was also rivaling them for the spring major spot. They then faced BDS in the next round, who had shown a sign of weakness against Choosers, which Semper went out to exploit. BDS scored 10 goals in 3 games. Did Harry Maguire teach him to defend? They then improved their defense and let EG score 10 goals in 5 games, which eliminated them from the tournament and the spring major race. Depending on how EU performs in the spring major though, they still have a good chance at qualifying for the Worlds. Team Vitality were also fighting for a spot at the spring major in London, and with an updated roster and a new coach, the legendary French org was back in business. This meme just never ends. They then faced off against Gross Noobs in the lower bracket, who they managed to beat narrowly with 3 1-goal wins. It was then time to play against Carmine Corp in the next, and okay. It might not have been entirely Vitality's fault, as Solary actually used the curse meta against them in the first round. Can't wait to see the timeline when the major starts in 2 weeks. Solary then used the curse meta in a League of Legends match against LDLC, but looks like their luck had run out as they lost to them, like this, and it didn't go too much better for them in Rocket League either, as they got smacked around by Moist and then lost to Luminosity in 5 games, causing them to miss out on the major. You could go into deep analysis on what went wrong with their gameplay, however, the overwhelming evidence points to it being because of this guy on Twitter. After being Vitality, Carmine Corp moved on to face off against Evil Geniuses in the lower bracket round 3. They lost after 3 overtimes, but it didn't matter as they had enough points in the split to qualify for the major. This was great for Nolly especially, as he made the major in his first split with his new team, after getting dropped by his former team Guild Esports, without him even knowing it. Guild Esports on the other hand placed 13th. That's some karma right there. And with KZ qualifying, Itachi has now become the first ever African player to qualify for an RLCS LAN, as he is originally from Morocco, which is pretty impressive because Morocco isn't even in the RLCS. Team Endpoint were walking on thin ice, as their performances in the previous 2 regionals hadn't really been up to their standards. Endpoint started with a 3-1 victory over debutants Algeri. They then managed to beat Carmine Corp 3-1 as well, to make their way to the upper bracket semifinals and face BDS. BDS obviously had been undefeated in the split so far, which meant that it was time to eat their biscuits and crumpets and black wieners and get to work. And it worked out better than really anyone expected, as they went up 3-0 against BDS. Did they just forget how to play the game all of a sudden? This was nothing new for Endpoint, however, as they had also gone up 3-0 in the last regional against Moist Esports, and then losing it after being jinxed by Shift. This time they decided to jinx themselves though, so that Shift couldn't, and then BDS destroyed them in the next 2 games. Good job, guys. Endpoint then called a timeout and came back to beat BDS in the next game 3-1. They then went to get sweet revenge against Moist in the upper bracket final, where they went all the way to game 7. Kinda like last time. Endpoint were then once again defeated and dropped down to the lower bracket, where they faced off against BDS again. This time, the French super team remembered that the point of the game was to win and defeated Endpoint in game 7. For Endpoint, this result was enough to qualify for the Spring Major as well as the World Championship, and after 1,308 days since the Season 6 World Championships, Metsonaris has finally qualified for the Worlds again. Definitely well deserved. It's been 3.5 years of grinding to get here. Dignitas faced a near impossible task to qualify for the Major after being dropped down to the lower bracket by Semper. They then got a 2-0 lead over Choosers in the lower bracket. Oh no. Hey, there you go. That's some great character development right there. It then happened again, after which Coach Nick must have been like, right, so I've got a new strategy for us. After we win the first 2 games, we then win the 3rd game and win the whole series. Did you guys get that?
I know you're coming Oro Peely Wally up. There's no TikTok for Monocle's big man.
I'm just gonna assume that meant yes. Dignitas then swept Luminosity in the next round, and the confidence was high as they faced BDS in the next round. They won the first game in overtime, after which, well, at least you didn't get swept. And with that, Dignitas have now failed to qualify for the Spring Major. Again, a lot of people are saying that they are now washed. They aren't washed just because they had 1 bad major and split. They have qualified for Worlds, so we'll see how they perform there. Team Liquid had a great start as they beat Misfits and Guild in the first 2 rounds. They then faced Moist in the 3rd round, a matchup that ruined the Twitter timeline with endless water puns. Moist were the weather team and won 4-2, sending Liquid to the lower bracket. They then beat Evil Geniuses after an impressive 3-1 comeback during a timeout before a game 7. Most people would be pretty nervous about the next game, but not Oski, who was more interested in doing keepy ups. They then played BDS and got absolutely destroyed. I guess they dropped down to the lower bracket just because they got so bored of winning. 4th place isn't bad for Team Liquid, considering they literally came out of nowhere. They're 11th in the season rankings, and they didn't even qualify for a regional before spring. But as mentioned before, BDS beat Endpoint in the lower bracket final, which meant that they would be going to the grand finals yet again. This time they had to go for a bracket reset as they faced Moist Esports, and I can only describe it as a bit mental, as Moist won 3 overtimes in a row to take the series to match point. BDS had a difficult job against probably the most clutch team in Rocket League. They won the next 2 games, but that wasn't enough as they lost in game 6, giving Moist Esports the first regional win in the Org's history. And as you can see, the players just couldn't hold in their excitement.
Let's go! Let's go!
But that was the last regional of the season. BDS showed that they're only human, and it'll be fun to see what these teams can do in London. Speaking of London, let's have a quick preview of what will be going down in about 2 weeks. Here are the teams that have qualified for the Spring Major that will be played starting Wednesday 29th of June. G2 will be defending their current Major champion title, faces the current North American regional champion, and the best team in the world. According to Asfury's irrefutable evidence, version 1 need to perform well at this major, as Beast Mode is still 30 grand in debt after his girlfriend's birthday. Space Station came 3rd in the last major and are looking stronger than ever. Team Envy are also here. BDS and Moist Esports are the 2 European super teams looking to avenge their region for the disappointment of the last major. Team Liquid will be going to the first RLCS LAN in the Org's history after a very solid spring split. Get it? Very solid. Carmine Corp will win their first match against Furia, and if you think otherwise, Noel will come and ratio you on Twitter. Endpoint just managed to squeeze into the major, but they will be eager to show what they can do before the Worlds this summer. This will be the first time this season that Renegades aren't representing Oceania in the major, as Pioneers and Power have both qualified for their 2nd major this season. Furia and Team Secret are both eager to show that South America isn't a minor region anymore. Gaming Gladiators will be the first team to represent Southern Asia at an RLCS LAN, like Max Yu, who is from Ireland, the most famous South Asian country. And last but not least, we'll be seeing the Falcons roster again after not being able to participate in the last major. But who do you got winning? Tell me in the comments below. And as our last bit of esports news, Australian RLCS caster Yummy Cheeseman has decided that it's time to move on from Rocket League.
Oh my god, that's some great tractor work. Trelleborg have them, but look at this from Grim, the double stack. This is clutch. They don't have any more bales. They're out there trying to get some more bales. They're just running around. Look at them. Oh my god, have they failed? It's fine. They've got such a big lead. 30 seconds to go. There's no chance. Not only does Grim have to get this on, but it needs to get up there in 14 seconds. This is going to be difficult for it to reach the very top for those points to count. 7 seconds is nothing more that they can do. There's only a few seconds left. They need this bale to go in. It's 0 seconds. Oh my god. Oh my god. It goes in. Oh my god. They've done it.
This has to be a joke, right? Alright, if any of you want to join Sandblock Gaming, please DM me on Twitter, but a week wouldn't be complete without checking all the stupid things that the community has been up to.
That's astonishing. It's absolutely world-class.
EasyModeActivist only needed 5 seconds to beat his opponent as he pulled out this genius move. Moischoyo thought he would be cheeky and ratio his own mom on Twitter. His dad decided to then ratio him on Twitter. This is the best thing I've seen on this website in a long time. But now let's check out what you guys have been up to. It's time for a clip of the week. The top 5 were voted on by the members on Discord. So if you want to submit your own clips or influence who makes the top 5 for one of these videos, you can do so on my Discord server. Link in the description. But before we reveal the top 5, let's look at some honorable mentions. Ratman scored this crazy crossbar pinch in a 3v3 match this week. Elemental might have spoken a little too soon.
Actually, so clean sometimes. Look at that. That's champ air dribbles right there.
Yeah, well, obviously, because you're champ.
You're basically a champ, honestly. I should be a champ. I lie. Okay, leave me alone.
Actually, champ won kickoffs. Actually, champ.
Rocket League is famous for having absolutely no bugs, as is proven by this clip from Bobby. Astrodog scored probably the greatest goal I've ever seen. But now it's time to reveal the top 5. Like mentioned before, these were voted by the Discord members. YaboiKenry scored probably one of the funniest turtle goals I've ever seen. Honestly, the opponent should just forfeit after that one. Even if they came back and beat you, it would still be an L. Orange Cod is back again with his endless supply of Heatseeker clips. You could just make a compilation out of these at this point because they're just so clean. BurningGoldfish scored probably the sickest Rumble goal I've ever seen. Yo, why are you scoring in your own net, bro? Rituality scored this musty psycho in training. And last but not least, we have eclipzz, who scored this insane shot in training. Alright, next I want you to score a flip reset musty double tap, and that's the top 5. As always, there will be a YouTube poll on the channel. The person with the most votes after 24 hours wins 500 credits. And that's it for this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We're so close to hitting 8,000 subscribers, which would just be insane. It's more people than in Pudasjärvi. Where even is that? That would be more people than live in this area. But as always, remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, check out this video or check out this playlist. Follow me on Twitter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.